A very good evening to my friends in India and a very good morning to my friends in US. My name is Soumya Jain and I am a part of team marketing at Inseedo. So I am the host and the moderator for today's session. The topic for today's discussion is championing well-being in the times of COVID. Before moving forward, I would also like to tell you a brief overview of the topic. So what do you mean by well-being? Wellness is complete integration of body, mind, and spirit, and the realization that everything we do, think, feel, and believe has an effect on a state of well being. Also, today we all are emotional well beings, and hence we need to have the right balance and take charge of ourselves. Hence, the more we talk, the more we observe. With this thought in mind, let's start our session. Before moving forward, I'd like to tell a brief event flow of the event, how we would proceed. Firstly, I will ask all the panelists to introduce themselves about the one fun fact they have about themselves they would like to share with the audience, one, their tenure at Inseedo and their department. Secondly, we'll have a set of three rounds of questions on one-on-one each basis, followed by a quick rapid fire round. Thirdly, we would like to tell our audience that in case anyone has any questions, they can feel free to write us in the Q&A session and we'll take the maximum questions as possible. So without taking much of a time, let's proceed. Over to you, Harini. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Harini Balakrishnan. I'm from Santa Clara office. Currently I work as a part of client engineering team. I've been at Inseedo for almost a year and 3 months now. It's been a great experience for me. And fun fact about me is, if you have seen me at Santa Clara office, if not for any meeting, you can always find me with a cup of tea. I'm a tea person. I have tasted like almost 110 teas. I keep count of that. I write about it. I'm crazy about tea. So if you have any doubt, any interest on tea, you can contact me.
Oh, that's really a cool fact about you, Harini. We appreciate that. Okay, next to Ina, we would like to hear about you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ina and I've been associated with Inseedo over the past 3 years, and currently I am working in robotic process technology. And fun fact about me is I love to explore a lot of places, and in my free time I used to browse content over Netflix or the Prime. And about this organization, I've made a lot of friends here and it's a good experience here.
Okay. So, Ina, we would like to know what's the latest Netflix series you saw?
Harshad Mehta. It was fun.
Okay. Okay. Next, we move to Ishan. Ishan, please
Hi
introduce
everyone.
yourself.
Good evening, all in India. Good morning, all in the US. So my name is Ashan. I belong to the product engineering team at Inseedo, Gurgaon. I've been here for just over 11 months. I'm a very passionate system programmer. So you can wake me up at 3 a.m. and talk about system programming. Another thing I like talking about and doing is researching about cars. So my weekends are spent in reading and finding and making a list of which cars I want to buy. So yeah, that's all about me.
Okay, that was a good start. Jennifer, over to you.
Hi
You're on
everyone.
mute.
Yeah. Can you hear now? Okay. Hi everyone. My name's Jen. I am a client engineer over here in Inseedo. I've been here for about a year and 4 months, just around the same time as Harini. A fun fact about me is that I absolutely love baking. I'm not the best, but I can make really good cookies, and I'm pretty proud of that.
I'm sure lockdown has given you enough time to bake.
Definitely. Still trying to get the bread down though. Can't do that.
Okay. Over to you, Shashank.
Hey, my name is Shashank Sharma, and I'm part of Infrastructure Management Services. I've been with Inseedo for last 2 years, and the fun fact about me is very few people in my team have actually met me in person. So at this point of time, you're just watching me on a webinar. A lot of people don't even won't even recognize me if I will meet them in person.
Okay. Okay, so let's begin. So we have introduction of all the panelists now. Now we'll begin with our first round of questions. First question, what does well-being mean to you and why this topic is much more important in the times that we are living today? We'll start with Harini, you.
So well-being. So I feel like well-being is more connected to mental health and physical fitness in this lockdown because we are confined in the four walls and we are restricted in areas. And even if you go outdoor, you are not comfortable with removing the mask and jogging or doing physical exercise along with your friends. So the small chit chats that you do with the friends out of office, that's missing currently when you're in lockdown. So the mental health is not just like a one event, it is a process. So you need to have stick to that like a regular pattern. So that's the main reason why I focus on well-being. So right now during lockdown, we have to do certain things to stay active. So in previous before lockdown, it was happening eventually as a part of our life, but now we are have to spend some time and plan for for our own benefit, like our mental health, for physical activity. You have to choose your own hobby to actually make your mind engaged, so that you can concentrate on the office work. If not, it's going to be like over pressure and you will be like blocked not to think free. Your free thinkingness will reduce, I feel. So that's the main reason for the well-being.
Okay. Over to you, Ina.
So I will say well-being is taking care of yourself. Anything that you enjoy, take time on you. Because if we see such pandemic situations which has increased the working hours and the stress into our lifestyle, it's very important to take care of yourself. So anything which you enjoy, and for me it is equally important to take care of fitness, which includes both physical as well as mental, because physical fitness will give you strength and the, I will say, emotional fitness will bring the calmness. And if you are physically as well as emotionally fit, you will be able to produce more productivity in life, and moreover it helps to bring a proper work life balance. So I will say just do anything, whichever you like to be fitness.
Okay, that was a wonderful answer. Over to you, Shashank. We would like to hear your views on what is wellness according to you.
Yeah, so when we're talking about wellness, it's not specific to this COVID time. It's been a topic, and let me put it this way: this topic has come to limelight when we entered into this COVID phase, right? Before this, people used to hardly discuss about mental well-being. People were discussing about how you are doing. I mean, normally when we meet with each other, or even if we are on call, we do ask how you're doing. But very layman answer is yes, I'm doing fine. That's it. But since we have gone into this COVID phase, people have actually started looking at mental wellness from a totally different angle. Why? Because people have now started experiencing it. Now, when people are spending so much time more than what they used to do in the office, now they have started feeling exhausted. And let me give you an example. If you're going, if you're going back to bed after working for almost 12 to 14 hours, and even then in your dreams, if you are thinking, if you're dreaming about just work stuff, then definitely something is wrong with you, right? And the next day, if you're waking up and you're not smiling, you're not happy about a new day, and it's like, oh man, come on, it's not again, I have to start all over again. So that is not mental wellness, right? There are times when people do not even discuss. If I have a friend in my team, and if he's going through this burnout session, like he's spending 12 to 14 hours every day just working, not taking enough breaks, right? So some way or the other, it becomes my responsibility as well to just at least talk to him, at least break the ice, right? Let's just discuss about how you're doing, right? Instead of just focusing on your work, we can talk about something else, right? This would give at least some breather for me as well as to the other person to think of something different from work. So yeah, I mean, if I want to wake up happy and with good mood, I need to ensure that I'm in well mental peace.
Yes, the one thing that you have mentioned correctly is that earlier people used to have this breakdown, but nobody was, nobody had time to listen to everyone. But nowadays, since we all are at home, now we realize how it is to actually face that problem. So everyone is coming up and speaking up. And the best part is people are helping others without any thing in return. Yeah, that's the fun part. Okay, Ishan, we would like to hear your views.
Yeah, so wonderful points by Harini, Ina, and Shashank. They literally stole my words. What I like to add is what I personally feel lacking in this time since March is physical interaction. I love physically meeting people. I love meeting my friends, sharing with them what happens during the day, what happens during the week, in my work, off my work with my family, and that keeps me balanced. So that is lacking since March, and I would say it needs to be addressed now more because, for example, even with me, let's say if somebody comes to me and says I broke my arm, I mean, the kind of the amount of concern I would have would be naturally much more than if someone would say, okay, I am feeling depressed. I would say just initially I would say, okay, start thinking positive, or probably you need to talk to someone, but not take equal amount of seriousness that okay, actually it is that serious as it would be to have a physical injury. So that's something I felt throughout this lockdown, throughout this period, and I feel that hence it becomes more important for all of us to accept, and as Shashank said, to take steps to talk with people and open them up. So yeah.
All right. Jennifer, over to you.
Yeah, for me, well-being is just simply being able to find satisfaction in your everyday routine. So, for example, if that means that you have to go running every day, like I do, then you have to do that. It's what's keeping you sane at this point. And especially during these times where you really don't know what's going to be happening tomorrow, it's very important to have some type of normalcy in your life because nothing is normal right now. So even if it just means like baking something every day or just cooking yourself dinner instead of getting takeout, there's a lot of simple ways that you can improve your well-being just by doing simple tasks every day.
Okay.
Soumya, your mic is mute.
Sorry. So now we'll proceed towards the second question. So what are some of the habits and practices that you are building in these COVID times, especially, which helps you manage stress and helps disconnect from what is actually happening around the corner in the world? We'll start with Jennifer.
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, I go running almost every day. I do have my lazy days where I just don't want to get up, and especially since it's getting cold outside, it's sometimes some days it just doesn't work out. But honestly, running is a great way. You wouldn't think of it because you're consistently in pain. You're literally running for like a mile or so. So, but in a sense, it is a type of meditation because you are very much clearing your mind and just thinking about getting through that trail or street or wherever you're running. And it's just a really good way of forming a habit and like it breaks the monotony of every day. So that's what I really like.
Okay. Shashank, we would like to hear what are some practices that you have recently adopted.
Yeah, so before COVID, of course, things were very normal. People used to go out, and one of my hobbies was to go around places. That was my hobby, but since COVID came into picture, so I had to find something, right, which could keep me busy in something other than my work and actually flush my brain. So, so I was just discussing when we entered into this COVID phase. After a month or so, I was spending too much time while working. So I was just having this casual discussion with my wife, and at that time we were talking about we should do something like we should either go running, just like Jennifer said, right? She goes for running. So that was one thing which came into my mind. But again, my family was like, no, no, son, you are not going to step out because, COVID situation in specifically India and NCR is like very serious. So you should not step out. Then I thought, what else is there which I could do and I haven't done before? Then my wife said that you should start learning cooking, which will give me a new hobby and it will help her. So basically, I got into a trap and ultimately started learning cooking. But yeah, at this point, I'm like, normal. So if my wife or my mother is not around in the home, I can still cook for myself and I can survive. So yeah, that's one new hobby.
But that's definitely a good thing that you have acquired. So, what's the recent thing you have cooked, Shashank? And you would like to share the recipe also?
Well, I'm pretty confident that nobody on this webinar would want to follow my recipe because that's something, I can cook for myself and I can eat and I still can be satisfied. That is something which, let's say, even if I will cook, it is possible that some of the people would not like it. So though my mother and wife do give positive feedback to me, but they're doing their part, right? They're just keeping my morale up. That's all they're doing, right? So recently I cooked white sauce pasta for my family. I have my brother, my mother, and my wife. So I cooked for them. I liked it. Not sure how did they like it, but yeah, the feedback was pretty good. So
It is a good, decent start, we can say.
yeah. Let's see if you join back the office, then I might try to meet some of you people and have you taste it. We'll see then how it goes.
Definitely. Over to you, Ishan.
Yeah, so this is one of my favorite questions. Why? Because since the lockdown began, I got a lot of time. I used to save, I've been saving 2 hours per day, and I've been always looking for time to exercise, time to do my favorite workouts. So one of the core things that I believe uh, is the core element of my habits or changes is enjoyment. So whatever I do has to have enjoyment in it, and once that is there, that thing is there, I wait for that time to come. For example, if I choose my workout in beginning of the day, I wait for the evening to arrive, and I pick up my weight, or I go running, or I do stretching. So the enjoyment part of it keeps me up, and even if the work is stressful, even if something else is stressful, I know that there is some things to look forward to. Another thing is, I have inculcated few habits throughout the day that I could not before. Those are writing gratitude journals. So there's this book called The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, and I've been following that. There is a 28-day practice, and completing that itself was a task for me. When I completed that for the first time, I felt an internal change in me completing that, and I have a book where I have those gratitude things written every single day. And when I go back and look, I see that, okay, how can there be negativity in my life when I have those many things every single day? So that is what has changed things around for me in this lockdown.
Okay. That was a nice book. Like many people don't usually have that thing to, have the patience level, especially to read a book and then practice those things. But I guess that's a good learning.
So did I. Someone actually used to call me, "Ki, you have to do it, Ishan. You have to do it. It will literally change a lot of things around you." So
Okay,
having a
so
friend.
let's assume that our audience should definitely learn and get motivated from you now.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, over to you, Harini.
Okay, so once the lockdown started, for few months, I was in a holiday mood, I would say. It was all like relaxed. I had a commute of almost 2 hours daily. So it was a super break for me. And after 2 months, I slowly started to miss the things that I actually thought I wouldn't. I started to miss the 2 hour commute. I started to miss the annoying meetings. I actually started to miss people. I when you're in office, like you feel like, can we get a break? Like, can we go out, or like, can we actually don't have a meeting on entire day? But when you're at home, it's like, can we have some meeting, like just a casual meeting? You don't have to be at office. Just like bring your own beverage, like sit and just chat, like how was your day? So that's like a total contrast of what my life was before. So I have like three things that I decided like in the month of like May, where I was very dull. My day starts like pretty late because you're at home. You really wake up late, and it was really the time was very shabby. So I decided in the May like this is not how it should be. My physical health was not good. My mental state was very like. I don't know, somehow it goes to the dead end, like when whatever I think it went to dead end, because I realized that first thing is openness. I'm extrovert, but I realize that when you are at home, you kind of feel this guiltiness when you message someone like you're troubling someone. It's not like that. So you have to open, because other than messaging them, other than calling them, you don't have a method of communication. You can't physically read their face whether they are ready to talk or not. So it's really good to actually ask them, are you free, are you available, can we chat? You have to take that initiative to actually go and open up when you're blocked. So that's the first thing I would say. Second one is it is not just one event, I will say. So mental health is a process that you have to take. It is about like how you brush your teeth, how you eat daily. So it's, you have to do it like daily. It's a routine. Only like in 2 to 3 weeks you can actually feel the freeness. So just having like a one event. So we used to have like weekly events. So when we were in office, because it was easy, because everyone was like together, right? It was easy to call them like quickly, come on everyone, let's just have like a Friday happy hour. But when you are in home, you have to plan for it. You have to send invite, you have to check with everyone like, can you come? That is mainly because you don't see their face, you don't actually know their physical lifestyle, you don't physically see them. So you can't read about like whether they are available or not. So it's fine, it's totally fine to continuously send event invites, like send notifications, because talking to people actually helps. With all this hard work you will be benefited. I'll say I was superly benefited. I initiated all hands, I started to meet everyone like bi-weekly, and we used to have games. It was super fun, my mind was very relaxed, which actually helped my office work. Because when I work in office, I knew that okay, I spoke with this friend like 2 weeks back or a week back or even yesterday, so I know she will be available. I can check with her like what is the work status. Between the team we had a communication bonding, which I felt in work from home it can break easily, but we were able to hold it up, and it was helping my actually office potential. Another important thing that I cultivated just for my physical benefit and my personal benefit is gardening. I used to cook a lot. So I handed it over to my husband, who I wanted to cook. Similar to what Shashank was saying, I want him to cook. There is like one selfish reason. Mostly that is the reason. But second one is for his own benefit. So if he can learn, it will be really good once this pandemic is over. We can just share the weekly schedule and cook it for each other. So he's like cooking a lot of time. So what I decided is let's grow vegetables, because it was hard for me to actually go to shop and get certain things in the month of May and June. So we started with just basic things, tomato, potato, which is like very very easy. You don't have to even struggle or anything. So when I started this, I had zero idea about gardening. So what happened is I opened up. I started to go and look for videos. I joined certain groups in Facebook which are specifically for gardening. I met so many new people. I have not even seen them physically yet. I have started to talk to them about my daily schedule. Today, like I had to like prune my roses. They are like starting to dry. It's like you're talking about someone you know. Where plant is like a bridge that connects two people. Like I have met like so many people just because of this one hobby, that gardening. So I'll say just pick one hobby and try to connect to the people who also have a similar hobby. You'll have like a lot to learn and communicate. That lets your mind relax, and it also helps you to actually do a free thinking in your job, because you have spent time talking to other one. Now your thinking is going to be very effective. If not, your mind is going to talk to itself, and it will just get blocked. I have experienced this. As Ishan was saying, I was also someone who will like panic if someone is having an injury that's physically visible. But if someone says I am tired or I am getting depressed, I wouldn't have understood unless now. Because I have crossed that. So I can feel now that, okay, I understand actually what you're going through. Yes, getting depressed or getting stuck with mental block or getting really stressed, that I understand now, and I know I have tried certain solutions. I can try to like help you. So that is something happened in this pandemic for me.
Okay, that was quite an experience you have shared. Ina, we would like to know about you.
Sure, Soumya. So one of the things that I have learned during this pandemic situation is that this situation has forced us to be anchored in our flats. We can't step outside and no one can come to meet us. And what I realize is that there is a lack of connect, which is really important in today's time because you need someone with whom you can discuss how's your day, what problems you are facing, and that really helps you to come up to the stress situations. And once the relaxations came, then I came back to my hometown and I realized that family helps is really important because it's very important to spend some time to discuss with your family, and that really adds the mental refreshness that is needed to perform over time. So definitely my mantra will be to spend time with the friends and family so that it brings the refreshness in your life.
Okay. Okay, so now we can move to our third question. So how can we build a culture of well-being at Inseedo? So we'll like to know the views starting from Shashank, you.
Right. So, any good initiative towards establishing a good mental well-being among employees in any organization is a dialogue. The more people will talk, the more easier it would become for these people to relax themselves. If there are people who are introvert, there are people who are so bound to their duties that they feel, let me put it this way, and it happens in almost every society that when a person says that I'm feeling stressed, I'm not mentally fit, what people think is this person is weak or this person is mentally challenged, right? So this is one of the reasons why this complete discussion became a taboo before COVID phase. But now that we have understood the essence of this discussion, we have to start talking. It doesn't matter if my boss is talking to me, if boss of my boss is talking to me, the dialogue can be 360-degree. The discussion can be 360-degree. I can talk to my peer, I can talk to someone whom I know from some of my engagements in the organization. A person like I did not know Ishan before, right? But Ishan is part of Inzero. He is working in a different team. But of course, I would like to speak with him, right? Every now and then. Hey, man, how are you doing? Right? How things are going? Everything okay? How is the work? How is the workload? So those kind of casual conversations are need to be happened. So that's what I feel. Those are like the basic baby steps that we need to start with.
Okay, that's like, yeah, encouraging conversations you're basically mentioning that we should have
All right.
across teams. Okay, over to you, Jennifer.
Yeah, so I think a great way that we can make sure that our well-being is okay over at Encito is just to participate in like these meetings and like Kareem was saying, like even having like some type of meeting that isn't about work, just making sure that everyone is okay and how is like just a check-in meeting basically, like just have a coffee, like a cup of coffee or like a cup of tea, as Kareem was saying, and just get together and just see like how are we all doing. And then I know there's also a lot of other things that are coming up with Encito. For example, there's a lot of clubs that are coming up. I know there was a craft club that was doing some activities with kids the other week or so. So that's a good thing to participate in too. Like participation really just breaks you out of your isolation bubble. Like I haven't left my room since locked in, basically. just kidding. I go grocery shopping. Don't think that. But I just think it's a good idea to just go to any meetings that you can find. Just get to know everyone on your team. Make sure they're all doing okay. And I think that's a great way to ensure that Inseedo is having the best well-being that we can have.
Okay. Ina, over to you.
So I will say there are a lot of initiatives we can do at organization level as well as at the peer level. Like at the organization level, we can conduct events like support events or opening of a gym wherein people can interact with other people and can involve in activities. Moreover, at peer level, I will say one should encourage the our colleagues. For example, just an example, if there is a meeting ongoing and one is not able to perform well, then instead of judging those persons, we should help them key what are the we can give them a feedback how they can improve, so it will help them to improve further. So supporting peers, I will say.
Okay. What about you, Ishan?
Yeah, so
What's-
wonderful points by Shashank, Ina, Jennifer. What I'd like to add is that what I have seen that where people in organizations face challenges when it comes to starting conversations is when it comes to especially group activities in this lockdown that me and Bhavna have been working on together, is that a lot of people don't participate. So that is where I feel there should be a way, there should be a group of people who can connect, and that call or that conversation should be agendaless. So no agenda call, just to have fun and topics of the interest of those people, and if possible people who have had the same experience before, so that they can understand okay what the person might be going through. So there is no judgment happening either, and a lot of relativity happens in that meeting, in that call, uh, and that can bring out a lot of points to improve on the vibe in that team. And that ultimately I think can solve a lot of problems. First of all, starting with addressing the problem. Okay, why are these people not participating? There might not be a very big reason, but it's just that there might be just something stopping people from participating in such activities, or maybe someone has different interests. So yeah, conversations without agenda help a lot. Are going to help a lot. So such a task force, such a group which does that is going to be very, very transformative in the long journey for Inseedo.
So with no agenda call, since you have mentioned, so in like our marketing team, what we do on every Friday, we don't do a formal call. We just talk about, chit chat about what is going and like what everyone is doing, how is everyone, where they're going. So I guess we can also have that, with interdepartment, maybe just mix up people and then have a call with each of them so we can understand each one better. Maybe
And time
that's
would just
fun.
pass by, I feel. And
Yeah.
that's how, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, it's wonderful to have that call.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have it really soon. Okay, over to you, Harini.
So to wrap up, like what everybody said, like almost all the points that I had in my mind. So first is openness. So this pandemic has taught us that if you want to talk to people, you have to take initiative. You have to make your mind talk to people. Openness is very, very important. We have been like brought up in such a way like we don't want to bother anyone, so that's the first thought you kind comes in our mind. Let's not message someone, like they'll be busy, like why would I bother, let's watch something, let's not like disturb anyone. So cut that barrier. Like I'll say a message is not going to hurt anybody, request of a meeting is not going to hurt anybody, so just go and do it. Initially they are not going to have any idea about how the meeting is going to be. So so it can be like they are going to ignore certain things for initially when you message, and when you have like a good meeting once. I have experienced this, so it was very hard for me to like create an event or create a meeting, just a normal meeting. It was like it's a we in US we generally have it like a bi-weekly. It's called all hands, but it was initially difficult for me to actually gather everyone to participate. But once they had fun in the meeting, right, like once they know what this is all about, it became like everybody started to ask me, don't we have a meeting like now? Do we have a meeting next week? What kind of game are you planning? What kind of topic are we going to talk? So they are very much interested, but initially no one is going to have any idea what you are going to say. So first say it out. Go plan like a meeting, or as Soumya was saying, just message in WhatsApp, message in Teams, just a normal random thing. So unless you don't take an initiative to open and talk, they are not going to understand what you're trying to say, how fun it is going to be, or how relevant it's going to be with their life. Everybody is going sailing on the same boat. So believe me, once you open, you will know how much it is. Our lives are common and how much things we are there to share with each other. Another point is virtual working hours have been crazy. Since you are at home, you're obligated to attend meetings early morning, late night. Now I'm working with India team where I have to work around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So morning. So what I did is I now have a flexibility to change my lifestyle. So I work in the early morning, and during my breakfast time, I go and look at my plants. I walk in my garden, so that gives me like good workout, and it's the same time that I used to do commute and I used to walk in the office. So it kind of brings me that memories like, okay. And even lunch, I started to have lunch in my backyard. In Santa Clara, we used to sit in like a outdoor desk and we used to have it just reminds me just that I don't physically have people, but I'll be messaging people when I'm having lunch. So message and try to communicate. I'll say if you have done it like 10% before the pandemic, now you have to try 90%. It is the ratio. So you have to like literally go out and talk to people. It will help you really a lot. And virtual like plan accordingly, so don't get tired or spoil your sleep. Plan your meetings accordingly. It may take some time to plan, but once you have the schedule set, it is going to make your life very easy. So do that, I will say. And third one is I felt like one important thing about Insider is planning all these events. So not just all hands town hall meetings, and we have talent, as Jennifer said, we recently had the craft, and we have like teams for specific hobbies where we are planning to have a book reading or a music contest. So it is very very good, and I will say uh, try to participate. Being a part of that, it's going to help you personally a lot, and it is also going to help your friends to join. So I'll say it's a good way to being an example. So I'll say try to open up and join things that you like, and try to be more interactive than before. That will help you a lot. That's the important thing I did in pandemic. I have benefited, and just sharing my experience.
I guess the point you highlighted about communication is really that we need to take up. So for Insido Talks, so that is exactly a platform where we, ask people to share their experiences. So we are meeting virtually. We haven't met before, but since you are sharing all your experiences, I just feel like we have been in touch like for a long time now. So that's the thing that communication plays in our lives. Okay. So now we have ended with our first round. Now we will begin with a quick rapid fire round with one of you with 3 questions each. First question, we will begin with Ina. No social media, no phone, or same food for a month. What would you choose?
Uh, I will say it's, I think our life is unbelievable without social media nowadays. So
So,
I will I will spend time on me like doing some exercise, like starting doing physical activities, do initiating some hobby.
okay. So, an alternate career choice you would have chosen if you had an option.
Maybe lecturer.
Okay. If you won $1 million right now, what would you buy?
Uh, I will go on a trip definitely.
Sorry, Ina, we missed you. We
Europe
can't
trip
hear
maybe.
you.
Yeah, I was saying I will take a Europe trip.
Okay. Surely we would like you to take that soon, real soon. Okay, moving to you, Ishan. What is something that you think you could be good at? Something you wish you could be good at?
Influencing people.
That you are doing it already. Good.
Yeah, I mean, bringing an impact, changing someone's thinking pattern for the better. That's something I'm
Okay.
working on.
Okay. How do you define happiness?
When I'm able to celebrate, like what I have on a daily basis. For example, there are days when I'm very low, but if I choose to celebrate that, I'm able to say good night to my parents on a daily basis, or say good night to my grandparents on a daily basis, or have a open-hearted conversation with my brother on a random topic at night. That's happiness for me.
Okay. And what if you had an access to a time machine, where would you like to go?
I'd like to go in the past and see. So both my grandparents are extremely fit. Their tests come perfectly fine, and I've been surprised by that they are both plus 90 plus. I have been always wanting, if I ever had access to a time machine, I would want to go back to the time that what they did. That their lifestyle is so amazing today that they're able to lead such amazing lives without the need of a lot of medical equipment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Shashank, over to you. If a genie
Yes.
comes up in front of you, what are the three wishes you would ask for?
Okay, wow. Three wishes. Okay, let's see. Okay. First, okay, I will answer this way. First wish would be to get $1 million. Second would be to let me have a Europe visa, and third would be to learn a European language.
Okay, that was really a smart answer. Okay. Second thing, what would you prefer? Stuffed aloo paranthas or gym?
Stuffed aloo paratha anytime.
Okay. And what would you choose between the three? No social media, no phone, or same food for a month?
I would say no social media because for over 4 to 5 years, uh, I'm not on any social media platform except LinkedIn. So it's kind of easier for me to get into that zone and still continue to live with my phone and you know good food. So yeah, I could live without social media.
Okay. Okay, over to you, Jennifer. What's the one thing that you will carry with yourself if you were to stuck on an island?
Probably a phone, just to keep myself. Oh, but hopefully there'll be a charger with that. I don't know.
And hopefully an internet connection too.
An internet connection. Like if I could get a phone with all those three things, or like an unlimited battery, if that was ever to be created, I would bring that. That would be great.
Okay, and if you won $1 million, what would you buy?
I would probably just pay off my college loans. I think that's the first thing I would do. And then after that, I would probably buy my mom a house.
Okay, so thoughtful. Okay, to you, Harini, over to you. What's that one thing you think you could be good at? You wish you could be good at?
Cleaning the house. Since I'm spending a lot of time in the house, now I can see all the flaws very clearly. I can feel because our office used to be maintained by third party, and it's like always clean office. So now the home is not clean. I can feel the difference. So I have to get up out of my chair and clean. That's something I'm not good at. I really wish I can uh, get some tips about that, like help on that. I should be a good efficient cleaner. That's one thing for now I feel. Yeah.
Okay, and if you had time machine, where would you like to go?
I want to go to um, definitely not future. I'm really excited to see how it goes, but definitely to the past. Maybe during my grandparents' time, I like my grandma, and I really want to see how it will be to live in that period. She struggled a lot. It's around 19, mid of 19, during the freedom time. But I know it's going to be differently different from this. No social media, no internet. It will be crazy at the time, but I want to experience that.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so now we'll wrap up with the rapid fire round, and we have some Q&As from various people coming in. So first question is by Anuj Mathur. What role do you think leaders can play in order to ensure well-being amongst teams? So anyone can just volunteer an answer. Nina, would you like to answer?
Yeah, I will say from the leader's point of view, it's very important what challenges their colleagues are facing. So, to understand their problems and help them to overcome that thing, that is the foremost thing that is required.
Anyone would like to answer this question?
I can go. So,
Yeah.
what I have always admired about my professional seniors is that they've had the same or similar journey that I am going through. So when I get to talk to them, when I'm able to reach out to them, and they can listen and then share, okay, yeah, it's okay to be in this situation, and such platforms where I can have more interaction with people of that seniority, so that I can have that satisfaction. Okay, having this challenge at this point of time in my professional journey is okay. So, and how I'm going to overcome it, this is the solution. So that is something is going to calm me and people like me more, I feel.
Okay. So we have the second question from Akanksha Mehrotra. Which initiative around well-being you would love Institute to continue even after office reopens? Shashank, your views on this?
Yeah, I think Harini did answer this question that the programs that we are having on a weekly basis and bi-weekly basis, like we connect together and things like talk series, this is a wonderful platform, I must say. These are the small things which would continue to establish communication between different people in our company. So it would be better even if our office starts after COVID, then we should continue having these kind of forums, discussions, so that apart from work we can discuss about anything.
Sure, that's a good answer. Now we have a question from Sachin Agrawal. Can you share any instance in your career when you felt mentally very strong while solving a critical problem? Jennifer or Shashank, anyone?
Yeah, Jennifer, if you want to take it.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the question real quick?
Yeah, so the question is, can you share any instance in your career when you felt mentally very strong while solving a critical problem?
Well, I think it's just like that first week was always, it's always, I feel like everyone has that one aha moment where it's just like, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to be doing this? Like, for like when we first started, I want to say like last year, like way before the pandemic even started, there was like definitely times where I felt like, oh my gosh, like this is too much for me. Like, how am I going to be able to like get past this? Because like everything was just so new and everything was being thrown at you. And then eventually, like once you get past that first hump of like that first Friday of your first week, I think that's where everything really comes into place. And you're like, okay, I can get through this. And like every single time I come across like some type of bug that I just want to like bang my head against because it's just, I can't find a problem to it. I just always think back to that first week of like, okay, I thought that that was going to be impossible, but look at where you are now. You're a year and I think 4 months into your career. Like you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this. Like you, like everything's just going to pass. Like just give it some time and you'll be okay. And I always like to say, like, if you need help, just go for it. Like I know, like everyone was saying earlier, we were taught to sort of be hesitant when asking other people for help, but we kind of have to like eliminate that thought process. Like it's not going to help anyone if we just like sit there panicking, stressed out over something that we don't know, when there's someone else that can definitely help you. So I would say if you're ever facing some type of hump or like you just need a confidence boost in your career, just always think back to like your first week and how you felt back then and compare it to now.
Okay. So now we'll take the last question for the evening since we are running short of time. So it's a question by Pamela. Do you think people will be able to adjust with being back to office now since they're used to working from home for like 7-8 months now? Ishan, we would like to hear you.
I think they would be waiting to come back because I've been waiting to go back to office and talk to everybody, work with everybody. I think it's going to be all the more exciting coming to office. Yes, it's going to be difficult adjusting the timelines because with work from home, everybody has gotten adjusted with their own ways of working, with their own time zones of working. Probably someone works early, someone works in the evening. But yeah, with time, I feel that's more natural because that's how we have worked since always. So when we go back, if we go back completely, it's going to be wonderful. There's not going to be a lot of.
Are you ready for your 2 hours of traveling also?
Yeah. I love driving, right? So.
Okay, that's a valid point.
And I just want to add something, Soumya, here.
Yeah. Yes,
Ishan
sure.
actually made a very valid point, and it is kind of nostalgic. When we were in school, right, and we used to have summer holidays, right, of 60 days or sometimes 65 days. So we used to be very excited that, okay, we're going to go back to school, we're going to meet our friends, we're going to show them our new toys, and we're going to play different sports. But when you join your school back after a day or two, it becomes normal. It feels like, okay, yeah, we are used to it. So nothing is new now. So yeah, it will take some time. I think I answered similar question on the forum that yeah, it will take a week or so to adjust to this.
Okay.
Just to add
Harini.
to what Sushant said, that's exactly what I felt. So the moment you start going to school, your next thought will be like, when is the Sunday going to come? So enjoy the work from home as much as you can just now itself. We won't know like will we get like the same relaxed time after your office starts. Another important thing is now that I have experienced how I have to dedicate time for my mind, have a openness, talk to people. It's not going to change even if I go to office. Maybe I will stop sending messages, but I'll obviously go and talk to them physically. They're going to be right in front of me, so I'll obviously continue talking to people, letting them know what I have in my mind. If I'm blocked or if I'm bored or anything, I'm just going to keep myself engaged with continue doing this gardening thing and everything. So your personal space, you have to make sure you don't indulge in the busyness once you go to the office. So that is a small thing I will request. Try to have this before pandemic. My life was like office, home. So home is like I'll come, I'll just cook something and then watch TV and then that's it, sleep, nothing other than that. Now I have to spend some time like doing gardening, like talk to people other than office. So those things are like in my plan and schedule, so I hope I'll do that after the office starts. But as everybody said, it will the changes like going to just be a week or two, but you will eventually like get in there and start your schedule, and you'll definitely going to miss the work from home. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're definitely going to be missing once we go back to office is just the idea of working in your pajamas. Like, I know for sure, like even today, like I wore a normal shirt and even now it's hard for me. I'm usually just in my pajamas the entire day. So once again, like I think give it a week, we'll get back to normal.
Yeah,
I'll say
that's the valid point. Yes, Ina, please continue.
getting back to office will give us a chance to meet friends again, spending time with them. And there is always means one gain and one loss. So we will lose the time spending with the family, but on the other side, we'll get time with friends.
Definitely. So we are hoping to begin with the office soon, as all of our leaders can hear that. Okay, so I think we had quite an insightful discussion and a detailed discussion on what is actually well-being to us. So I would like to thank everyone, our attendees, our panelists, for joining this talk show for us. I hope it was a good learning and an enriching session where we could drive an open dialogue and an encouraging conversation with our young budding leaders. We'll be back soon with our next installment in Zero Talks. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. Have a great day.